Thank you very much, Belmont. A very good night to you, my colleagues at the head table, Member of Parliament for Port of Spain North St. Anne's West and Minister of National Security in the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister as well. That's Mr. Stuart Young, and of course, our hard-working Attorney General from San Fernando West, Faris Al-Rawi, and from Tobago East, the furthest point of the nation in the Atlantic, to Belmont, the one and only our darling cabinet colleague, Mrs. Ayanna Webster Roy, in charge of our women and children issues in the Office of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, and of course the Public Relations Officer of the PNM, Mrs. Laurel Lizama Leasing. I'd like to acknowledge this evening in the gathering here in this girls' school, because it just dawned on me that we are in a girls' school. Yes, you couldn't be more pertinent. But we have with us this evening the presence of the Mayor of Port of Spain, Alderman Joel Martinez, and other councillors from Port of Spain, and my cabinet colleague, Minister of Housing, Mrs. Penelope Beckles, and you lovely people of Belmont, your councillors and your activists, and those of you who are listening, following at home, on all your various platforms, good night. I must tell you that I don't feel good. Usually I come up to this platform and I can talk to you and about you and with you for a long time. Tonight I really would like it to be as short as I can get away with, because I just don't feel good. This nation is hurting. This nation is mourning. This nation is a place where we are experiencing life in a way that may have not experienced it before. Or even if you have experienced it before, the fact that you've experienced it before has made today such a sad day for us. In fact, it's pretty much a season. It's more like a season. I was invited by some persons today that I should go to attend a funeral tomorrow. I would love to have gone to that funeral of that child tomorrow. But unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. But the reason why I was asked to go to the funeral tomorrow is because the opposition leader is going to be speaking there. And I said, that is not a reason for me to go to the funeral. In fact, that might be a reason for me not to go to the funeral, because the population may easily, and maybe correctly, view my presence and the presence of my other colleagues from Parliament as attempting to politicize this unspeakable sorrow which Andrea's family, her community, and the nation is experiencing. Tonight I want to say to Andrea's family that you are not alone, but we can't pretend to understand the grief that you are experiencing. When I spoke publicly a few days ago on this issue, our security services were out in search. And I made an appeal to any person who may have information to do the patriotic thing and let that information be known. And I kept thinking that maybe it's too much to ask in the environment in which we live to expect that the information would result. But I did say that I'm hoping that Andrea would be recovered unharmed. And since the news came that her body was found, a kind of sadness has come over me, because I'm a father of 2 daughters, and I cannot disconnect in the current environment, especially seeing how the nation has come up to respond to this occasion, not for the first time. That coming together of our nation to say enough is enough might be the first step in a right direction, because we are a divided nation. And some people make a career of dividing us. Tonight, wherever the candles are lit, all of us, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, nieces, uncles, aunts, all of us see every candle and say, there but for the grace of God go I. Because frankly, I've been thinking for the last few days, how would I receive news like that if it were my child? And to think that other people have had to receive news like that. Ladies and gentlemen, some people portray us, those of us in the political arena, as brutish beasts. We're not. We're just other citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. There's one memory that stays with me ever since I became, it happened during the second, it was 1998. It was during my second term as a member of parliament for Diego Martin West, where I've been the representative for a number of years, since 1991. And I remember being at home on Christmas morning as MP and being called out to service, because 9-year-old Marina Henry had been sent by her grandmother to a shop in Diego Martin, Factory Road, and she has disappeared. This year, Marina would have been 32 years old. From that trip to the shop, with her grandmother at home waiting, she never returned. I have never recovered from that, because I spent that Christmas season searching with others, searching and hoping that we'll find that child. I don't cry easily, but I do. And that was one time when I cried. I never found that child. And as I got older, I realized that what we are now condemning today and over time have been rejecting, saying that we're better than that and we must not be exposed to that. I grew up with that, because as I look back as a child, domestic violence and physical assault of women, I knew it since I was 4 years old. In my neighborhood, it was a frequent occurrence. And in fact, how it was dealt with then is that you turn away and pretend you didn't hear the screams of the women and you didn't know what happened last night in your neighborhood. But as we evolve to a better place, we have come to where we are today, where we are saying we condemn all of that. And we must be able to do better. And as I talk to my daughter frequently on this matter, I'm coming to the conclusion that when we say, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about this? What can we do about it? Where does the fix start? I'm coming to the conclusion that it's all about respect. All about respect. If we're raising children, boys and girls, we start there to teach them to respect. And if we're in the workplace or if you're on the street talking to strangers, it's about respect. And if you're on the playing field and you're playing a game with somebody you're playing against, win, lose, or draw, at the end of the game, it's about respect, and you thank you for the game. But then, when people are victimized, we call for justice. But we want to be in a situation where we shouldn't have to call for justice. We should live justice. To be left alone, unbothered, regardless of what you're wearing, regardless of how you look, you should be respected and be allowed to live. That is the real justice, to be left alone, obeying the law, and being a citizen of a country that offers so much to us. And as we have instances of wrongdoing, of criminality, and of monstrous behavior, we call for justice. But to get that justice, we have to have structures, infrastructure to dispense the tenets of the law. Some people see opportunity in this tragedy, political opportunity. I wish it hadn't happened, so that tonight we could have had a different kind of meeting, talking about different issues. But tonight we must talk about the issue that is so exercising the entire nation. And we join with the families, not only Andrea's family, but all the other families who have suffered this unspeakable pain. The trouble is that it doesn't end tonight or when the candles go out on the vigil, because it appears to be, by reasonable analysis, an ongoing thing. And what we're trying to do is to slow it down, to steer it away, and hoping to stop it. But if I lived with it when I was 4, I lived with it for Marina Henry, and in my capacity as an office holder, as a friend of many women, as a prime minister of the country, you all would be amazed at what I am told by people who have been hurting. I have been told by so many women of their experiences. Many of them, that experience was one of rape. And as you call for justice, sometimes you become angry. Because when a woman can tell you that she was raped in a motor vehicle, and her assailants were arrested 9 years ago, and that matter is still before the court, that embodies anger. Why should a woman have to be repeating her experience 9 years after it happened? Or worse, 15 years after it happened. And there are people there making a good living by saying that the witness would have lost his memory, and therefore on that basis the testimony is untrustworthy, and therefore the person should walk. And as if that is not enough, those who commit the most heinous of crimes, of all the things that we can ask for in this society, is to have murderers get bail. Well, I could tell you, as long as I have anything to do with it, it ain't going to happen in this country if I could stop it. That is not to say that bail for murder is not practiced in some countries, you know. But is that what we want in Trinidad and Tobago? Is that what we want in Trinidad and Tobago? The answer is no. I speak for you. The answer is no. And I trust that those who make the decision will make it on the basis that the people of Trinidad and Tobago do not want that as part of our environment. Ladies and gentlemen, as an office holder, one of the highest offices in the land, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, what can I do in response to this continuous experience and the plethora of instances? What can I do? What must I do? Because there are things that I could do. One of the first things I did, carrying the unpleasant memory that I carry of Marina Henry's disappearance and of other women who would have been damaged in our society, was to ensure that in the highest office in the cabinet, this issue of women and children should reside. And as I looked at who was successful in the PNM's team in 2015, I decided to find somebody in that group. And had I not found somebody in the group of elected people, I would have looked for somebody as a senator to hold that position. But luckily, we had a mother and the perfect temperament from Tobago East, and she got the position of minister in the office of prime minister to treat with the issues of women and children. That is what a prime minister could do, and that is what we did. And in a time when funds are scarce, and at the cabinet there's tremendous competition for funds because everybody has a priority and everybody has a cohort of the national population saying that this is what the money should be spent on, what little money we have not shirked in ensuring that that ministry that deals with the issues of women and children get what it needs so that the population of Trinidad and Tobago could hold out to our women what the country can afford with respect to the issues facing them. And then, it's not only that ministry. Recently we had a bit of a, I wouldn't say quarrel, but a bit of a strong conversation at the level of the cabinet. And that is that the judiciary appears to be a growth area. In a time when we are literally holding the fort, I don't know of a single cabinet meeting where there isn't something brought by a particular minister because the judiciary wants this or must have that, and it's a priority. And of course, you know they could talk. And they talk their way into convincing you that in order to get that justice that we talk about, the judiciary must be functioning. And for it to function properly, have to have this, have to have that, have to have this, have to have that. So a number of things have been done. Every single one costing significant expense. Because we are rebuilding the infrastructure to dispense justice in Trinidad and Tobago. Many of you may not know that as we move the parliament out of the waterfront, the building in which the parliament was housed, we are building there a new court accommodation. How many courts? 70? With respect to dispensing justice, we have just spent a few tens of millions of dollars to reconfigure the space that the parliament used to occupy. It should have been opened by last June, but you know what happened in 2020 between January and June. So we couldn't keep that deadline. But the work has gone on, it's considerably progressed, and I'm looking forward to the completion, because if we are able to have the accommodation, and if we are able to, as we have done, to increase the number of judges, and if we have digitalized the ministry, there's a good chance, a much better chance, for justice to be dispensed on time. We have expanded the judiciary in very many ways, and we have made giant steps. And all I'm saying to you is that while we grieve and we hurt, let us not do it without hope. You know, in the Christian religion, at funerals, the priest always asks us, let us not grieve like those without hope. We have hope of another life in another place. So temper your grieving with that. I say to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, notwithstanding what you would see making the national expressions and the national hit parade and sometimes rank emotion without fact, we are in fact on the right track in facing down the criminal element and in ensuring that those who run afoul of the laws of the country, that there's a better system for dispensing justice. That is what I can do at the level of the Prime Minister, at the level of the Cabinet, on your behalf. I've seen people, especially those in the media, those who write editorials, who influence your opinions, have a problem in calling out people by their names when they fall short in the politics. Of course, if you are PNM, you get your name called, and you get a grandfather name called, you get your father name called, right? But others, if you are to point your finger at their shortcomings or their questionable conduct, you have to lump all of us together. And you're calling on the politicians in the parliament to come together and do X, Y, Z. All these systems, all these calls, success or failure, depend on people. It depends on the people. Tonight I brought a record here of how the PNM functioned in opposition under the Patrick Manning period of opposition, 1995 to 2000. Because you see this party called the PNM, we are in this politics to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And whether we are in government or opposition, anything that is good for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we will support it. Our record shows that. And if we think it's not good, and we genuinely believe so, we won't support it. But we will take no political position that we will blanket say we supported nothing in the parliament because of X, Y, Z. No, if it is good for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we will support it, and the record shows that. Let me take you through 1995 to 2000 under Patrick Manning opposition. I was a member of that opposition. 139 bills were voted upon in the parliament during that period. The PNM supported 94% of those bills. 94% of what the government brought during that period got opposition support. And let me tell you what they were, the ones that had to do with crime and nexus to crime and so on. Let me just very quickly run through them because I know you all either don't know or you forgot. So when they call in you to develop this system where we must get together, opposition, government gets together with the opposition in the parliament. That's where you get together. That's where you work, in the parliament. Not behind some closed door in somebody's house in a rum shop in some smoke-filled room. We work in the parliament. That's where we get together. So when we wanted to pass the Administration of Justice Bill 1996, opposition supported that. The Coroner's Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Evidence Amendment Bill, we supported that. A series of finance variation bills we supported. The Immigration Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Jury Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Marriage Amendment Bill, we supported that. You heard about the vehicles that we're going to put certain number plates on and so on that's coming up, and people telling you already we're not supporting that. The Motor Vehicles Insurance Third-Party Bill, we supported that. The Protective Services Compensations Bill, we supported that. The Respect of Scheduled Laws Bill, we supported that. The Supreme Court of Adjudication Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Constitutional Amendment Bill 1996, we supported that. The Cohabitational Relationship Bill 97, we supported that. The Criminal Injuries Compensation Bill 1999, we supported that. The Criminal Procedure Plea Discussion and Plea Agreement number 2, 1998, we supported that. The Domestic Violence Bill 1999, we supported that. The Evidence Amendment Bill 1999, we supported that. The Freedom of Information 1998, we supported that. The Legal Aid and Advice Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Mental Health Amendment Bill, we supported that. The National Insurance Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Adoption of Children Bill, we supported that. The Bailiffs Bill, we supported that. The Children Bill, we supported that. The Children's Authority Bill, we supported that. The Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago Amendment Bill 2000, we supported that. The Constitution Amendment Bill number 1 and 2, we supported those. The Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill 1999, we supported that. Even the Dangerous Dogs Bill, we supported that to protect you from dogs. The Deoxyribonucleic Acid Bill, the DNA Bill, we supported that. The Judicial Review Bill, we supported that. The Justice Protection Bill, we supported that. The Law Reform Miscellaneous Bill 2000, we supported that. The Legal Profession Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Petty Civil Courts Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Police Complaints Authority Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Sexual Offences Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Supreme Court of Judicature Amendment Bill number 2, we supported that. All of those, including others, like the Miscellaneous Laws Bill and the Offences Against the Persons Bill, we supported all of those under Patrick Manning as opposition leader in Trinidad and Tobago, doing what is right for the people of Trinidad and Tobago from the opposition. (2010 to 2015), another period of opposition. 87 bills came and were passed. 62 of them had our support. And of course, you know, the first 3 are interesting. These are early in the term. The Anti-Gang Bill 2010, not just supported, but worked upon by Marlene MacDonald and Colum Imbert with the opposition team in the parliament. And when it came to the parliament floor, it sailed through and passed in 2010. It was just before we did the Anti-Terrorism Amendment Bill. And this one was the most interesting one. The Appropriation Financial Year 2011. The Appropriation Bill 2010. You know what that was? That was the national budget. Under my leadership, we voted for the budget brought by the UNC in the first year as government of this country. I can tell you, it was the only time it ever happened in this country. Only time. The Bail Amendment Bill, we supported that. Data Protection Bill, we supported that. Electronic Transaction Bill, we supported that. A series of finance bills. The Firearms Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Interception of Communication Bill, we supported that. The Land Tenure and Security of Tenure Bill, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Provisions, Kidnapping and Bail Bill 2010, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Provision Ministry of Justice Bill 2011, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Provisions Remand Bill 2010, we supported that. Another Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Bill, we supported that. The Trafficking in Persons Bill 2011, we supported that. The Anti-Doping in Sports Bill, we supported that. The Registration of Births and Deaths Registration Amendment Bill, we supported that. The Marriage Amendment Bill 2012, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Bill Financial Intelligence Unit, we supported that. The Securities Bill 2012, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Provision Licensing Committee Bill, we supported that. The Midwife and Nurses Registration Bill, we supported that. The Adoption of Children Amendment Bill, we supported that, 2014. The Bail Bill 2015, we supported that. The Miscellaneous Provisions, Proceeds of Crime, Anti-Terrorism, Financial Intelligence Unit of Trinidad and Tobago Bill 2014, we supported that. That is our record as opposition in Trinidad and Tobago, serving the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That is working together in the parliament. That is coming together to work for the people of this country. But today, we have an opposition that says categorically they are not supporting anything that the government brings to the parliament. So all of you who are calling on us in the parliament to do what is right for and by the people of Trinidad and Tobago, if you can't call out the UNC for the obstructive behavior, just keep your voice away from my ears, because it's very close to hypocrisy. Very, very close. Very close. Everybody knows what is happening. And let me tell you something else too. In this period of great sadness, we have become less civil as a people, even in the parliament. Because some people believe that if they are to progress in the political arena, they have to slander, destroy, and pull down other people. I don't believe that. All those bills I just mentioned to you that we supported, what happened after we went to the polls? We from the opposition, we won the election. So what I'm saying to them, you don't have to be like you are to try and win an election. Just serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and they will see your service and they will select you. But another standard is being used. You destroy people, hoping that in destroying them with your lies, well, Faris and Stewart, I mean, they are targets every day. And I've had my dose. I've had my dose. And in case you all forget it, when you see them around talking as if they just arrived with the last bus into town, just remember, it was Kamala Prasad Bisesa, as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, a woman who came to the parliament with Rudal Munilal, with Vanilla Allen in tow, going into a general election, trying to destroy somebody who was their political opponent by putting on the parliamentary record for all time that the opposition leader was a rapist, and he couldn't help himself because his father was a rapist too. Understand? I just gave you the PNM record as how we serve this country. They have another way of serving this country. The people I oppose in the politics of this, they are not my enemies. Huh? Not my enemies. As a matter of fact, I saw the other day one of my former cabinet colleagues who was the subject of severe censure before she lost office. She appeared on a UNC gathering of resurrection. And that drew a comment in an editorial about how wonderful it is for brothers and sisters to get together across party lines. Really? That's true. But I never saw a paragraph pointing out that this government, under my leadership, in practice of governance in this country, have appointed UNC parliamentary members in positions that no other government has done, to chair state enterprises. And that we have come into office and we've met certain people appointed by previous government. In fact, one state enterprise, major one, we met a chairman there, appointed by a previous government. And we kept him there so long that only about a month or two ago, he asked the government to release him because he wants to get on with other things in his life because he's given enough public service. Another one is, we met him there, former attorney general from another political party, chairing a major state enterprise. He's still there today. And I could tell you, we make friends in this environment. When I go on the golf course and I meet Selby Wilson and Anthony Smart, we are friends. And when I sat at television station with Ho-Choi Charles, many of you know the name Ho-Choi Charles, one of the stalwart politicians in Tobago, DSC stalwart. He was DSC and PNM. And we go on to the television station to debate. And I'm up in his throat all night, and he up in my throat all night. And when he was finished, he jumped in my car, and we drove to the Holiday Inn where he was staying. That is how we knew it. That's how it used to be. That's where the respect was. And without respect, there could be no love. And with no love, change is going to be a fleeting thing. So if that is how we used to be, well, as I told you, it's about people. Today, we are talking about protecting our women, protecting our children. I talk about our men too, but for the moment, we're focusing on the women. What do you make? Who? In all of this conversation, Tracy Davison Celestine is a woman. She's a woman. She served this country for 10 or 15 years in various capacities. She was our ambassador abroad. She came to a political party with a one-man, one vote, and won the leadership in Tobago. Our political opponents fabricate a lie against her that she stole money in Tobago. The UNC did that and give it to the imps in Tobago. And is destroying her character across the board. So it's not only an allegation about rape that could try to destroy your character. And you know something? Some people actually believe it. But the question I want to ask is, who is going to stand up and defend Tracy Davidson Celestine from the wickedness of Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, who believe that they have to destroy your character to get political office in this country? Who's going to do that? There are people asking me as leader of the PNM to ask Tracy to step down because she is damaged, and if she's the leader, we're going to lose the election. And a lie? A lie fabricated by my political opponent, saying, one, that there was no approval for the project, and two, that she take the money and she had to account for two, and that it's in the Auditor General report. No such thing is any Auditor General report. No such reference is there. It's all about a late payment by the Tobago House of Assembly, and I could tell you about late payment. I could tell you about late payment. Ask any minister, ask any contractor about late payment. As I'm speaking to you now, my office in the Prime Minister's office, I had a check that was lost. When I found it, it was stale dated. I passed it back to the ministry and said, please write me a new check. It was almost a year now, I can't get it. In the Prime Minister's office. Hold on. We're waiting for releases. Everybody anywhere in the public system knows that. But in Tobago, under UNC guidance, a matter of that nature, in a contract that came to some grief, is grounds for destruction. But if we're defending women, I am defending Tracy Davidson Celestine from them. And I will not ask her to step down, because I know she's guilty of nothing. And she got that position because in this party that is 65 years old on January, only last Sunday we took a toast at the PNM, 65 years old. You don't come in a one-man, one-vote where every party member who took part in Tobago choose Tracy Davidson Celestine as the leader for Tobago. And you're going to tell me I must ask her to step down because the UNC is fabricating a lie with the PDP in Tobago. She will not step down, and if that is going to cause us to lose the election, then we lose it. But we'll hold to our principles and we'll stand our ground. I'm wearing tonight these stars for all those women who have been the victim of the kinds of horrible experiences that Andrea Barrett experienced. Anchors and sails. Anchors meaning that you're going to stand firm to your principle. You drop anchor there. You ever heard that first? And a sailboat meaning that you're looking for fair weather and you're going to face any storm because you're a skillful sailor. That is my position. That's my position. And I advance it to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be our brother's keeper. The crime that is flourishing in Trinidad and Tobago today, I am happy to see so many people coming out using their physical presence and their expression of anger and disappointment in this instance. I'm very sorry that it took another life for all of us to rise up like this. Because I am saying, if we're rising up like this, it means that when you know something about a criminal in this country, that same attitude will take you to tell the police whether it's your neighbor or your family, and we're going to get a chance, give us a chance, give us a chance, give us a chance. So there's a lot of good in this. Because don't tell me after you have this vigil, and after you express this anger, and you make those demands that you will know where a gun is. A gun which the next time it barks would be another life and another news and another Andrea. If that's what it is, then you might as well out your candle and go home. We in Trinidad and Tobago, we are a fortunate people, and sometimes we don't know it. But those of us who choose civility, those of us who choose brotherly love, we must hold the course. I don't only speak about myself, I speak about the PNM. Remember Orville London? Orville London contested in Tobago and he lost by, I think it was 10 votes. And I think the person he lost to was a woman, his political opponent. When Orville London eventually became the leader of Tobago, I observed that that woman was in fact a senior officer in his administration. You know why? Because we're all Tobagonians. What we are fighting for is not blood and glory. What we are fighting for is an opportunity to serve. And that is why today I can point to the number of people who oppose the PNM and who are now either in the PNM or working with the PNM. There's hope for Trinidad and Tobago. Let us take that as a guide. Let's take that as a guide. You see, we, in taking our circumstance for granted, whatever they might be, could find ourselves stumbling on our own shoes. I looked at a report tonight from a place in London called Ealing. And London, the center of the empire that we came from, and where many of us aspire to go to. If you want to leave the country, you go to London, you say it with a bit of a take that. There are lines so long, like they've never seen, of people looking for food handouts. I mean, long lines of healthy-looking people who are either going hungry or about to go hungry, and they're going to a soup kitchen, a food handout place down the road, a volunteer basis. We don't have that in Trinidad and Tobago because we have a support system here which we take for granted. I have a minister in the cabinet who literally hands out $5 to $6 billion a year to prevent our citizens from being in lines going for food in that way. What has caused that in London? 2021? It's a pandemic that started in 2020, continuing into 2021, and has so damaged people's circumstance at the national and at the community and at the personal level that some people are reduced to that level. We in Trinidad and Tobago, you would have heard the Minister of Finance yesterday speak very frankly. Very, very frankly, the Minister of Finance told you, because we want you to know your circumstance. But I tell you from time to time that one of the problems with this country is that our population has difficulty dealing with the truth when they have the truth in front of them. So you tell them the truth, and they've been lied to for so long by other people that they don't know how to accept the truth. The truth is to be questioned and dismissed. So our Minister of Finance coming out and telling you that our revenue shortfall is $1.8 billion. So temper your demands. Cut your suit to suit your cloth. Because these are not fairy times with respect to expenditure. And you could blame as much as you like. You could feel hard done as much as you like. It's not going to change the fact that we are in a very difficult situation. And he also told you that we are going to be taking some of our savings to ensure that we keep body and soul together in the country. And he told you that we are in fact in a difficulty with respect to granting you pay increases, but we're going to do everything possible to keep you in a job. Some people have difficulty wrapping their minds around that. But those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. And from the PNM, you get nothing but the truth and the facts. Nothing, because it's the best basis on which to organize your life or your country. We have made serious sacrifices to be able to be here in this room tonight, to be able to bring our children out to school last Monday. Before Christmas, I told you, I will spend my Christmas praying that when the Christmas and New Year season is over, that we be in a position that the CMO could authorize us to bring at least some of our children out. We have done that. Picture it. We are taking our children to school. Other people in far better circumstances than us in terms of resources and influence, they are struggling to cope much more than we are. So tonight, this is a political gathering with a difference. First, I'm not wearing a red shirt. And secondly, we're not here only for political purpose. We are here to join the rest of the national community in a season of great sadness, which I would like to ask us all as a nation to treat as a season of reflection. Because many of our citizens need to reflect, go, and come again. To join the rest of our citizens, I want to ask all of you in a representative mode, let us stand for a minute of silence. For Andrea and all the others who have brought us to this place of reflection in such great national outpouring of national sadness. We observe.